Okay, hey everyone, this is Salome. Welcome back to the channel. I have a quick word that I was going through the book of Exodus. I was reading over the 10 plagues and I came across something that just grabbed my attention. I'd like to share that with you. So the plagues start from, I think it's about chapter 7. Yeah, from chapter 7. But I'm going to pick it up from the fourth plague, which is in chapter 8 towards the end. And in this chapter is the first time we hear mention of the Lord making a distinction between the Israelites and the Egyptians. And this mainly is concerning the plague and their experiences of it. So this would lead me to assume that the first 3 plagues, the children of Israel went through them alongside the Egyptians. They went through the time when the waters became blood and stank up all of Egypt, and the fish died and it stank it up even more. They went through the frogs, which brought another stench, and the lice too. And finally, on the 4th plague, we hear the Lord now setting his children apart and saying it in a very straightforward way to Pharaoh that yes, and in that day I will set apart the land of Goshen in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, in order that you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of the land. I will make a difference between my people and your people. I just felt when I read this, I just felt the Lord saying that he's about to make a distinction between his children, those who diligently seek him, and those who live in the world and for the world. Let's look at it this way. Let's think of the time that they spent experiencing those first 3 plagues as a probationary period, as you would a probationary period in the workplace. Now, probation is a trial period that must be completed before a person receives greater benefits or freedom. The word probation is derived from the Latin word probatum, which means the act of proving. If we dig a bit deeper, you just open my dictionary here to the meaning of the word to prove. It's to demonstrate having a particular quality or worth, to learn or to find out by experience, to test the truth or validity of something, or the genuineness of something, the capability of something, to establish the existence, truth, or validity. I think I'm repeating myself there. Yes. So after this period after a person has gone through this period, they are released into greater benefits or greater sense of freedom in the workplace. So this is when things like your medical aid kick in and your pension kicks in. Perhaps, you start to get a transport allowance, or you're able to join that company gym, or things like of that nature. So I feel like the Lord is saying to us that your probationary period is just about to end. I know, he knows it seems as though things are getting worse. Just like the children of Israel. Not only were they slaves, not only did did their workload get increased after Moses' initial request for their freedom, but they went through those 3 plagues alongside their taskmasters. And you may be feeling the same. You may be feeling like things are just getting worse and worse. You know, the more that you've drawn closer to the Lord and you've really committed to His will for your life, and you just dug deep within yourself, things are just getting worse and worse. Excuse me. The Lord just wants to let you know that your kingdom benefits are just about to kick in. You're sitting there thinking, well, you know, when am I going to get to that part where I am set apart as a child of God? You know, right now it seems as though, you know, those living according to the standards of this world are having an easier time of it, you know, and often at your expense. But the Lord is working a plan that is going to take care of your needs comprehensively. Now let's talk a little bit about this period of distinction. It was characterized by the Lord raising His children. He initially elevates them just above the prevailing trials that were brought upon the land of Egypt. So from this point onwards, whether it's really mentioned explicitly in the word or it's implied, we get a sense that from this point, from the 4th plague onwards, the children of Israel were untouched. So it's almost as though they hovered over the current environment. The things that were happening around them were just not touching them. And in time, the Lord would raise them out from under, you know, their heavy loads and lead them out of the land of oppression to their promised land. So I just want to encourage you all to hold on. When I heard this in my spirit, it just made me feel so much better. You may not be getting the thing that you want, but you're on your way there. And while you're on your way there, the Lord will just have you hover just above the circumstances that are prevailing, the challenges of the day, things that you can clearly see happening to those around you will not be able to touch you. And I know you're waiting for your bigger promise, but this in itself is a blessing, because a lot of the plagues that befell the Egyptians could have wiped out the Israelites, could have left them in a position where they wouldn't be able to leave, or their numbers would have been greatly reduced, and their resources as well. So take courage and know that your probationary period is coming to an end and your kingdom benefits are just about to kick in. So when the flies of this world hit, you know, they won't touch you. When the livestock of the Egyptians are diseased, that won't touch your livestock either. When the Egyptians are afflicted with boils, as in the 6th plague, that's not going to touch you either. The hailstorms that killed both man and beast in the field didn't touch the Israelites either. It says here in the word, only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. The locusts too came in the land of Egypt, and again they didn't touch the children of Israel. And lastly, the plague of darkness, the 9th plague. It says that for 3 days the Egyptians were confined indoors because of this darkness. It was so oppressive. This complete thick darkness, it's described as. In verse 23 of chapter 10, it says that they did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. These are small blessings, I know, compared to the bigger promise of being released finally from the land of Egypt. But these are blessings that we need to count, and these are blessings that we can look forward to, because our period of probation is coming to an end, and we are just about to walk in to our kingdom benefits. So I hope this is encouraging to you. It certainly was a blessing to me to hear this from the Lord. Just take your time to read through these passages. I know it's quite a long chunk of scripture, but we're learning, and this is how we learn, by taking the time out to just read through these different experiences, and the Bible's not as boring as we think it is. I'm certainly discovering that. If you try to look at it, set your religious boxes aside and just read it, put yourself in the people's shoes, try to understand what's going on, go into the history and the context, read a few commentaries. It really brings so many of the stories to life, and you realize that a lot of the problems that they faced are quite similar to some of the things we grapple with now. So I encourage you to just take some time to get into the Word and read. So the reading for this one, before I go, if you start from Exodus 7, and you go up to the ninth plague, which would be like Exodus 10, or if you want to go up to the 10th one, I think that would be a really good chunk of reading, but you would get a real sense of the journey, even before the battle, the trials, even before the Exodus. So I think I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna go, but thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys next time.